Hello, people of the internet. This is Red Cube Everything coming at you with yet another RLAL match. Today, we're going to be seeing Blacklist going up against the hot HTP Esports. Blacklist are coming in this game again with a couple of roster changes. We did not see everybody come into the rotation the last time they played, but today we are going to be seeing the full rotation come through, and there's going to be a lot of different players, so it's going to be interesting seeing how they gel together. HTP, on the other hand, are coming off of a very big win, probably one of the biggest wins of this season, even though they already clinched playoffs. Beating Tryhard 7 was probably the biggest win and the biggest confidence booster for HTP Esports. The reason that is because there's so much hype surrounding that match that with them beating them, it was almost like, it doesn't really matter that they won. It matters that they have things to say because they won. So HTP are coming into this game with a lot of confidence. And because of that, Blacklist have to be on their toes today. If Blacklist are caught out making easy mistakes, HTP are going to be quick to capitalize. They have had a great week. After the first week, they had a sweep against Triple Crown. Ever since then, they have never looked back. They've been great every single game. And Blacklist need to play their best if they want to beat HTP. HTP, on the other hand, they don't want to let that confidence get to their head. That is something we've seen with a lot of the HTP players, is they're confident and sometimes a little cocky, and that could definitely kind of go against them. Confidence is good, but once you're too confident, there is an issue there because you then underestimate the other team, and that is the last thing you want to do, especially against a team as skilled as Blacklist. So, going in this game, the keys to the game, I've already hinted on them already. HTP is, don't let the confidence get to your head and use the confidence to fuel their game and play as good as they've been playing throughout the weeks, as they just did beat Tryhard 7, such a great team. Blacklist, on the other hand, use that kind of cockiness that HTP could have and use it against them. Come out and play as hard as possible, and then maybe you could throw HTP into a little bit of a whirlwind and they wouldn't be expecting it. Also, Blacklist needs to play as hard as possible, especially like against a team like HTP. If they go down early and dig their hole deep, it's almost going to be impossible to penetrate that HTP defense that they're so well known for and that HTP high pressure attack that they are so good at. So this was a pretty quick pregame analysis, but this game is surely going to be a good one. It's going to be interesting to see how all the Blacklist players gel together, and it's going to be interesting how HTP come off of that big win and see how it affects them, even at all. So let's get into the match. I'm going to start it up. I'm going to send all of the game information to all the players, and then we should be underway here soon. Again, guys, let's hope there's not as many hiccups as there was last stream, but already it's looking a lot better. Sorry about the no face cam. Like I said earlier, just a little sick today. Do not want to witnessing all of that mess for you guys, because that's just going to lose viewers. But that's going to be it, guys. We'll see you once we join the match and we see all the players with the HTP versus Blacklist game starting soon. Alright, guys, we are back. So they are actually just going to be doing a 2v2 now because the players just keep disconnecting. And I reiterated that fact at the beginning of the match. But when this goes on YouTube, I am actually probably going to get rid of that 3v3 match and then just focus on the 2v2 matchups, but I'm still going to give HTP the win here. So I'm just going on, if you guys follow the YouTube video is going to be a lot shorter because it's just going to focus on the 2v2 matches, so that means a whole match was lost because one match was 3v3. So I just want to focus on one match so that YouTube isn't confusing. So if you are watching on YouTube now, that is why there's HTP are kind of in the lead in the series right now, and that's because they won the first game 2-1 against Blacklist. I will probably put like a little recap before the video as well, so maybe this doesn't even matter. But we are here with a 2v2 matchup due to some connection issues. Rocket League servers have been acting a little finicky lately, so no need to kind of dwell on that fact. We are just here, Blacklist versus HTP. Let's get this going. Game 2 here, HTP in the lead in the series. All right, D's trying to play that ball in the middle. He does play it to Blue. Is Blue going to get there in time? He does not. That was a great opportunity there from Blue, but just did not have enough speed and not enough boost there to just get a little bit of a touch on it. Great play there from Deesh, but unlucky. We are seeing a little bit more of an offensive presence here from Blacklist, but it's already looked like it went right back at them. A great save there from Blue. As Kaz gets a good shot off, but it's going to be dealt with. And something that's interesting about watching 2v2 matches is obviously there's a lot more space, and when there's a lot more space, there's a lot more opportunity for players to do risky plays. Great goal there from Kaz, though. There's a lot more opportunity to do risky plays, and there's a lot more opportunity to make some mistakes. Like right there, that should have been easily dealt with from Kaz, but because of the space that was left behind from, not my fault, that should have been easily dealt with from Deesh, but because of the space that was left behind, it's a lot harder to get that boost and things like that. So those are the type of mistakes that you will see in 2v2s. It's a very different game even when one player just joins or one player leaves, and that's definitely what you can see here. Because demos, obviously, as you already started to see, we've already had 2 this match, come in a lot more handy because when it's a 2v1, it's a lot bigger than a 3v2. So HTP already have the lead, and they also have the lead in the series, so they are in a comfortable position right now. Blacklist have to figure something out because they've gotten some attack going, but nothing really that penetrates the defense of HTP. They did get a goal last match, but it was off of a missed rotation from HTP, and I'm not expecting HTP to do that again, as spacing once again for Blacklist is a problem. This could easily be related all the way back to the fact it is a 2v2, and it's just a completely different dynamic, but excuse me. Something you have to be able to kind of handle as a team is any game mode. You have to be able to communicate rotations and communicate positions on the ball. And that's something we've seen from Blacklist that they just aren't that good at. We've seen it from them since game 1, week 1 of the whole entire league. They are probably one of the, I don't want to say worst, but they are just not very good at communicating as a team. And that's something it's gotten better over time, but they still need to fix that. And that is the biggest takeaway from every single game they play. They just need to have more communication. Blue gets a good little fake there on Kaz, but it's going to be dealt with from Dis Switch. Obviously, you can see the communication from Dis Switch and Kaz is a lot more developed. When Kaz missed that ball, Dis Switch was in the perfect position to just say, okay, you know what, you missed, I'll be right there behind you and I can figure it out. Blacklist, on the other hand, I don't think have that type of communication, and that's something they need to fix. It's said time and time again. And right now, they have some time to fix it. It's 2 minutes, and they are down 2 goals. But they could have been down 3 there, but great save. But a double commit there from Blue Jew and Deesh. Switch looking for the pass back to Kaz. Kaz does get a touch on that, but that ball is going to be in the midfield and it's going to be dealt with from Deesh. Deesh tries to get a shot up, but Switch is going to save that fairly easily. Switch with a little bit of a miss hit. I think he actually might have tried to do that to pass back to Kaz. We shall never know. Blue's trying to get this ball played onto the top of the... he's not going to get it. Try to get the rebound off of the top of the goalpost, but he's not going to get it. Unlucky there. Kaz was in a position to save that, but that could have been a great shot opportunity there for Blacklist. And right there, a very interesting play, completely unexpected. I actually thought that was going to be easily dealt with, a good clearance there from Kaz, but Blue was in a perfect position just to turn that right back around and put it right back into the back of the net. Great play there from Blue, and with 2 minutes left, Blacklist could easily come right back into this game. Something we saw last week from Tryhard 7 and the HTP match is Kaz did not get to play a lot because HTP made a pretty premature sub against Tryhard 7. And you could either say that that was just lack of clarification of the rules, but HTP still made that mistake. And now we're starting to see Kaz kind of dwell out here, and he is playing in the 2v2. But could you say it's helping? Not necessarily, because Blacklist have just gotten 2 goals just like that, and they've tied the game right back up. We just see Easy join the match again. I think he's just spectating now because I'm not trying to flip this back to a 3v3 and restart the YouTube video. But just like that, Blacklist are right back into this match, and HTP kind of in a tough position here, as I think Blacklist right now have a lot of the confidence as they have just scored the last 2 goals, and both of them being unanswered from HTP. But just like that, great passing play from Diswitch puts it off the wall, and Kaz is just in a good position to put it into the back of the net. I think that should have been easily saved there from Blue, but he was in a tough position as his back was facing Kaz, and the front of his car was facing the goal, so he did have to do a quick hat flip there. He almost got there, but in the end, Kaz was just quicker than him and puts it bottom left. Nothing you can do there. And just like that, HTP regained the lead with 1 minute left here. Blacklist definitely are playing with a lot more confidence than we normally see them, and this could be easily related back to the all the rotations that have been made. With all these rotations on all these changes in rosters, you can either see a team really collapse, or you can see a team start to really kind of gel well together. And although that was a great goal there, I was going to say, I feel like I have to sneeze, but it's not coming out. But I was going to say, when you see a team kind of have all those rotations, either they gel well together or they kind of collapse. And although we've seen some miscommunications and things like that here, I feel like Blacklist overall as a team after these rotations has just gotten considerably better. This is a team that against AWP lost 9-1, but now we're going up against a team HTP, which could arguably be better than AWP. They're tied with 47 seconds left at 3-3. So Blacklist definitely have made some considerable improvements, but is it going to be enough against HTP? As Blue is trying to get another goal. He should have been there for the rebound, but he's not going to be able to get it. Kaz trying to get a shot off, but it's going to be a little bit too far to the right. 30 seconds left, and it looks like this game could go to overtime, or with this Blacklist counterattack, actually right back at you with the HTP counterattack, just switch in a position to score, and Blue was just a second, just too late, a second too late, a millisecond too late of saving that ball. It was right there, and he could have had it, but this switch, just too much pace on that ball, puts it right under him, and great goal there from HTP. 23 seconds left. Anything could happen. It's a fake. This is what you see a lot of times when they fake it. This could be an opportunity, but this switch is going to handle that fairly well. Kaz tries to redirect into the back of the net, but it's going to be handled from Blue. Blue's just trying to get this ball out and try to get something. 10 seconds left. Could HTP take the second game? Great hit there from Kaz off the wall, and that might be the nail in the coffin as it actually hits the bar, but in the end, still goes into the back of the net. Just like that, we see HTP in the last seconds, when it looked like it could go to overtime, take a 2-goal lead, and that is definitely going to be the nail in the coffin. With 3 seconds left, it is almost impossible to score 2 goals unless you get 2 kickoff goals, and this is going to be it, and it looks like Blue just kind of gave up on it. Just like that, should be going to overtime. I mean, my fault. Should be going on to game 3 here. Looking almost at an overtime, but HTP come out in the end in the last 20 seconds, score 2 great goals. Just like that, Blacklist are facing a sweep. Although Blacklist, the score line and the series line definitely doesn't favor them, they are playing a lot better. Like I said, this is a team that against AWP lost 9-1. Now they're going up against a team as good as as good as HTP, and it's really just, they're playing a lot better. There's no really kind of other way to say it. They're just playing a lot better, and it could easily be related to the rotations. But just like that, right off the bat, great kickoff from Blue there, and just flicks it right over. Just a missed kickoff there from Kaz, and he just flicks it right over this switch. That is an opportunity. You always favor the attackers, and great play there from Blue. Again, guys, I want to reiterate the fact the reason it is a 2v2 is because the players have been having connection issues with the Rocket League servers, and it did start as a 3v3, but in the YouTube, if you are just watching now, the YouTube is going to only consist of the 2v2 games because of the fact I just don't want it to be confusing. But great play there from Blacklist, and wow, that rotation of rosters has really changed how they've played. That is something you did not see from Blacklist before. They are just a great, I don't want to say it like that, they are a much better playmaking team than what we saw. They've made so many rotations, they've had some internal problems, and right now they're playing a very good playmaking style of play, a very good series against HTP. Even though the series doesn't the scoreline's not in their favor, they're playing so much better than what we've seen. This is a team that was down 9-1 to AWP, and they've just scored again. They are beating HTP, which is arguably the best team in the league, record-wise they are. They are beating HTP 3-0. This is just, although this series isn't in their favor, still this game is in their favor, and that's just something you wouldn't have expected from them in the beginning of the series. And we've really just started to see teams kind of come out here at the end where playoffs are kind of really in contention. And this is when you really start to see the teams start playing good. That is why we saw Active beat Try Hard 7. Could we see Blacklist beat HTP? And just like that, the commentator's curse strikes again because HTP scored a goal. But as I was saying, teams over the course of the season have adapted so much and changed so much. It's unfortunate to see teams that kind of had a tough start to the season almost give up, because the moment you give up is the moment you stop improving. And the moment you keep going and keep trying, like Blacklist have, after that AWP match, they were like, you know what? We're going to keep going. We can keep doing this. Let's make some changes, and we can kind of get a goal. We can not get a goal. Get a couple wins out. And that's exactly what they've done. Active, same deal. They started out 0-2 in the beginning of this year, and I think they actually lost the third match as well. So they're 0-3. They kept playing, made some rotations in Week 5, and they're playing so well, and they beat Tryhard 7. Teams in this league have adapted so much and changed so much. That is why I love long seasons, because it's really interesting to see how teams change over time. But enough of that. Let's get back to this game, because we're seeing another Blacklist attack here develop. This switch, though, great save. This could set up Kaz here if he could get to that ball, but Blue's going to handle that fairly well. Ball is kind of stuck here in the corner. D-Stride gets a hit on it. He does, and that's going to send the ball right onto the HTP side. D's trying to get a shot off. It's going to be played off the backboard. Should be easily dealt with, but it was a double commit there from the HTP team. We've seen a couple of those today, and that is something you don't really see from them normally, as communication for HTP is probably one of the best in the league, right next to Tryhard 7. I think they have probably, actually, any top team in the league has some very good communication, and HTP are making some interesting mistakes with those double commits here today, but they probably should address those as time goes on and we enter the playoffs. I've said this time and time again here, but we are getting closer and closer to the playoffs, and that also means closer and closer to the rewards at the end of the season and all-star matches. So these games here at the ends of the season really start to kind of pinpoint which players are you going to be putting into those all-star matches. I know so many people hate the cocky nature of Kaz, but you could easily say he backs that up, and he could easily be a contender for an all-star player. We're just going to have to wait and see, as all the players do vote for the players they want to see in that all-star match, and the viewers can as well. So make sure you guys are there when we get that poll going. But right here, this ball should be saved. That was a close call there from Switch. Unlucky there from Blacklist. They could have gotten another goal there at the end. That could have been the nail in the coffin, but HTP are still alive and kicking. As well, we also will have a poll for various different awards like MVP and Best Defensive Player, Best Sixth Man, which is the player that comes off the bench or comes from RLSL, and things like that. So make sure you guys are just staying tuned every single week, because one day that poll is going to come out and you guys are going to have to make that vote. All right, so Blacklist had a little bit of an interesting play there. Both of the players were, I think, a little bit too close together, and that's something you do not want to do, especially in twos, because it opens up space here for attacks like that to develop. Just like that, we see it. Miscommunication from Blacklist, as the players were so close together, leads to lack of rotation, and Blue just caught in a very tough spot, and that just sets up Kaz to put it right into the back of the net. And they're only down by 1. HTP could easily send this to overtime and make it a sweep. But either way this game goes, Blacklist have come out and they have played so well against one of the top teams in the league. And I think, like we've said time and time again, hindsight is 20/20. They got to look at this game with almost a positive, because they've been playing very well. All right, Kaz was trying to get an attack there, but great bump there from, I think it was Deesh. Switch trying to get something going here, but it's going to be broken up from Deesh again. Deesh trying to just get another goal here just to put the nail in the coffin. 45 seconds left. It's a great play, and Deesh gets it. Great play. Pops it off to the wall. Great read. Knows exactly where it was and puts it right around Kaz. Deesh puts it right in front of him, and then puts it right behind him, and then puts it into the back of the net. Great play for... Sorry about that. Great play there from Blacklist, and that could be the nail in the coffin, but 40 seconds left, 2 goals. HTP could easily pull something out here, but they do want to score early. The longer the time that Blacklist have the lead, the harder it will be for HTP to kind of come back here. All right, Kaz trying to get something to develop here, but great bump there from Deesh, completely demoralizing Kaz and just finishing that attack off, and it looks like that is going to be it here. Blacklist should take this, but Kaz with a great demo. It's not over yet, but 10 seconds left. 2 goals is almost impossible. Kaz trying to get something, passing it back to Switch, trying to get a shot off, but Blue, that's actually going to be Deesh. Shouldn't have not gone for that, and it's a double commit there, but it's going to be 1 second left. HTP, oh, GG's coming out prematurely here for Blue. That's never a good sign, especially against a team like HTP. They're going to use that to fuel the fire. They could pull something out here. And never mind. Just like that, it is over. And GG's come out. Blacklist playing a great match there. But do they have enough gas in the tank to win the series and cause another reverse sweep? That would be the second reverse sweep in the row if Blacklist keep it up. But either way, great match there from... sorry, guys. Great match from Blacklist there. And we're just going to be going on to Game 4 here. HTP do still have a game in hand, but if they give it up here to Blacklist, that's a lot of reverse sweep potential. And that's going to be a lot of material that the Discord can use against HTP. And that is exactly what everybody in the Discord is looking for. All right, so a little bit of a slow attack here starting off, but looks like the pace is starting to pick up here. Kaz is trying to get that ball out. He does. Blue is caught in a little bit of a tough position. If Kaz does get touched that, but Blue is going to have a great read. Great shadow defense there from Blue, and that forces the attack into Blacklist's favor. Looks like Blue's trying to play this into the middle. He does, but it's going to be broken up from Diswitch. Deesh actually opts to not go for that ball. A little bit of a questionable play, as Deesh was in a good position to hit that, but in the end, does not get it. All right, we are seeing the attack here develop from Blacklist, but HTP defense are caught in a little bit of a tough position, as they're not really getting any big clearances out, and just lots of passbacks, and kind of just trying to figure something out here. Kind of really interesting start to this game. A little bit of a slower start, and just like that, the rotation was just completely off for HTP. Very untypical of them. Literally, no one was back there for HTP. That could be just brought back all the way to a great play on the midfield line from Blue there, but either way, completely missed rotation there from HTP, and Blacklist have the lead here. Really, this reverse sweep is coming closer and closer to becoming a reality, but HTP most likely are looking for the answer. Diswitch trying to get that play off the wall. That should be set up for Kaz, but Kaz is not going to get there in time as Deesh gets there before him. Kaz trying to get this ball set up onto the left side here. Tries to get the air dribble. Can he get it? He does! Great goal! Oh my, that was premature. Great save and a great shot from Kaz. Great save from Kaz. Great shot from Deesh. And that's got to be a momentum booster for HTP. That would have been huge for Blacklist. That would have been a great goal, but Kaz getting that save and getting the demo, but Deesh is going to be back in time. They had numbers, but HTP just could not capitalize, but they... An absolutely insane angle here. Oh, as Diswitch throws out the nice shot, as it was an own goal. Absolutely, could technically say that could have hit the bar and gone in, but either way, the toxicity comes out from HTP, and just something you see from them time and time again. Could that fuel the fire for Blacklist, or is that just going to help HTP more and more? As the series is now tied, I mean, the game is now tied, and looks like the Blacklist attack is trying to flourish once again. And now it's right back with the counterattack here from Kaz, but Deesh is going to break that up tremendously. Obviously, the dynamic for play is a lot different in 2v2s. We've seen lots of kind of odd rotations and odd defensive mistakes and things that kind of really come down to 50-50 balls. 50-50 balls are a lot more important in 2v2s because you miss a 50-50 and your team could be easily caught in a very difficult position. Something you don't normally see from 3v3s. 3v3s, obviously there's risk with 50-50s, but it's not as high as it is in 2v2s, and lots of the goals we have seen here in these 2v2 matches really do come from either just high pressure and those 50-50 balls being won, but as well as just kind of missed rotations and things like that, because it's a completely different dynamic. I just want to reiterate the fact to new players to Rocket League or new viewers to Rocket League, 2v2s and 3v3s are a completely different ball game. It's just, there's really no relation between the two. But just like that, after almost 2 minutes of holding scoreless here, Kaz gets a great goal, and that definitely could be, although it is early, a nail in the coffin there. Because the reason I'm saying this, and the reason I'm saying it so early, is because HTP dwell on confidence, and having 2 goals unanswered there from from Blacklist, that lots of confidence there from HTP. And also the toxicity coming out in the chat from Diswitch, lots of confidence showing from HTP. And lots of confidence is a recipe for disaster, as going against HTP, there's almost another great goal there from this switch, but it's going to be broken up. Deesh with a questionable clearance there, and very interesting play there from Deesh. Really messed up on that clearance. I don't think just had enough boost. Was trying to get that out. Perfectly set up Switch, who was quick in the air and puts it right into the back of the net. And now HTP are up 3-1. It's kind of unfortunate to see Blacklist making those mistakes because the last game we saw, Game 3, they were just playing a lot better. And it's just kind of lost their almost, it could say it was a lucky game, but I really don't think luck is really a considerable factor in Rocket League. I think it really all does come down to skill. And we saw it from Blacklist. They can beat a team like HTP. We saw it already, Game 3. And right now they're not playing like they are in Game 3, and that's not going to be. They're not going to be able to beat They're not going to be able to beat HTP like that. And unfortunate to see because there is opportunity there, and Blacklist just have to find it. Blacklist do have a tough schedule here at the end of the league, as they have faced the likes of Consistently Inconsistent, Tryhard7, and HTP in a matter of just 4 weeks. It is a very hard schedule, as those teams are the top of the, almost top of the league, and it's really hard to kind of have that much endurance in the games, going up against teams as good as that over week and over week and over week, time and time again. So tough schedule here for Blacklist at the later half of the season, but we are seeing some glimpses of great play from them. They just have to be able to figure it out. 30 seconds left here. Blacklist need to figure something out right now, as they're down 2 goals with 30 seconds left. It's not looking good. Now all the way down to 20 seconds left, and the attack is just not there for Blacklist. The ball is on the HTP half, but they're not getting anything out of it. As Kaz gets a big clearance, and that is going to be the nail in the coffin, as it looks like no attack is going to develop out of that because Switch is right there at the tail end of that. And just like that, the game is over. GG. 0 seconds are put onto the board. There is absolutely, I think that's how the game's mechanics work. But there's absolutely 0 way for Blacklist to get a goal here. Good consolation goal there at the end. Nope, there it is. HTP win. Good consolation goal at the end there for Blacklist. But they just weren't playing as well as they did the third game. It's really unfortunate to see that because they played so well in that third game, and it's not really kind of, you don't really expect that from them. So here we go. That is it. HTP take the win there, and kind of looking back on that match, let's just take a second. HTP came out, had a 2-0. They lost Game 3 and then won Game 4. So it could have been a sweep, but Blacklist played well Game 3, and then Blacklist did not show up. I really don't think they played anywhere close to as well as they did in that Game 3 to what they played in that Game 4. That Game 4 was just not at all what we saw, not at all the Blacklist we saw from the Game 3, and it's just kind of unfortunate to say because Blacklist are such a good team. They've had a couple rotations and they've had a couple of internal issues with the rosters, and it's good that we're seeing them grow. As looking back at this match, it's all positives in my opinion for Blacklist. They played so well against such a good team, and it was just kind of, they almost lost the gas in the tank like I expected them to. As I went going into Game 4, I said, do they have enough gas in the tank? And obviously they did not. So great play all around, but HTP are just such a skilled team. It's so hard to keep all of that momentum that they had in Game 3 Blacklist going, as HTP just kind of keep that consistent attack going, and in the end, they take the win. HTP could easily be favorites for going into the playoffs, but there are some mistakes. We saw it today. We saw some double commits. We saw some miscommunications. And it's really up to all of the players to recognize that against HTP and be able to then come up against them and use exactly those mistakes they've made and beat HTP. That's exactly the answer. Pinpoint their mistakes and answer on them and capitalize on them, and that's exactly the answer to beat HTP. They've looked almost unanswerable. The only team to beat them has been Triple Crown, and maybe the recipe is let's go ask Triple Crown how they beat them, but right now HTP are just on fire. Blacklist played a great game, but in the end, HTP taking the win, and we will be right back with you guys with the post-game interview with HTP. Hello, people of the internet. We are back with the post-game interview here with HTP, and I apologize for Kaz's mic. It sounds like he is in a different dimension, but we're just going to get right into it. And first question I have is, going into that match and coming off of the Tryhard 7 win, did that influence your guys' kind of play style and change how much confidence you had going into this one?
No. We just played really bad. And we should have destroyed him.
Oh, okay.
Both of us just played terrible.
All right, that actually...
Well, not both of us. Well, I think both of us. This played good, I believe.
Okay, I don't really know what you said at the end there, but the first part you said leads perfectly into my second question, which is, going into that match, were you expecting kind of Blacklist to take a game there and actually have pretty close games throughout the entire series?
No, not really. And that's just being honest. They're a good team and they're desperate, but at the end of the day, we should be winning those games pretty easily.
All right.
That's why I'm playing really bad earlier now.
The HTP confidence coming out once again. But now the last question, okay? So I feel like I already know your answer to this, but going into playoffs, do you have a team that you fear the most?
No,
yeah,
but
that's I knew exactly. I knew exactly. That's
other teams should fear CI.
CI.
We're a good team, so we don't really care. But CI is definitely the second best team in the league, and they don't get like any credit.
All right. That is, I think that is definitely the best way to say that your most feared team is CI. I think you just want to shape it to kind of favor HTP. But in the end, I love you.
Really.
I love you, Cass. That's going to be it for the interview. Let's hope we get a better mic once we go into playoffs, but probably not going to happen. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate you guys sticking around, and good win out there, and best of luck into these last couple weeks before playoffs.
All right, thanks, dude.
All right, guys, the very typical Kaz in another dimension mic was just witnessed, and I really appreciate everyone tuning in for today's match, and getting so close to playoffs. Cannot wait. Make sure you guys stay tuning in, because any day now we're going to release those voting and those polls for the All-Star game and all the players and the rewards and things like that. So make sure you guys stay tuned, and from now on, it's just going to get better and better. Thanks, guys, so much. See ya.